Everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome back to the WWE 2K15 Universe Mode, and this, which is our next episode of WWF Attitude Era's Raw is War. So let's have a quick look at the card I've got set for you this evening. I'm going to start things off with Finlay versus his tag team partner, Lord Steven Regal, one-on-one. This match is a prelude to our next pay-per-view Bloodground, as these two guys will face off against Sheamus in a triple threat for the European Championship. Our next match is going to be a #1 Contenders match for the Intercontinental Championship as Randy Orton and Kane and Shelton Benjamin face off. Then we'll see Hollywood Hulk Hogan take on Stone Cold Steve Austin. CM Punk will face off against Brock Lesnar. And another #1 Contendership match here this evening. As suggested by Kenny last week, we will see The Rock, Ric Flair, Kane and Sting in a fatal four-way elimination match. The winner will go on to face Shawn Michaels at Bloodground. So without further ado, let's get straight into our first match. And as I said, our first match will be the two British Bruisers, Finlay taking on Lord Steven Regal. And here we go. Of course, as I mentioned, both of these guys will be involved in the European Championship match at Bloodground, facing off in a triple threat Extreme Rules match against Sheamus. I think we're going to probably make that an elimination match as well, just to try and make the match flow a little bit better. But that'd be a good one. I think it might be not so much a foregone conclusion, but you'd have to fancy Sheamus as the favourite in that match. And it's good to see now, of course, having Sheamus as the European champion. It's good to have an actual European guy as the champion. Regal gets right in the back of Finlay. Finlay spins Regal around. And if you could let me know in the comment section below what I've done, and I don't know you might notice or not, but I've tried to put the crowd noise on. I've muted out the commentators, which I just realised you can do. So I've muted out the commentary, and I've got a bit of crowd noise in the background, just to try and make it a bit more auditory pleasing. If that's the correct phrase, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, hopefully it'll make it sound a bit better. It's something that I plan on doing for next year as well, but I thought I'd give it a try now, just make sure it all works pretty well. There's Regal now throwing Finlay against that rope, brings him back and catches him again with another suplex. Regal doing a fantastic job here. And I think Regal next year is someone I'll probably boost the stats up a little bit of, because they've gotten down as an 81 on here. And I think he should be a bit higher than that, because he is a very, very talented wrestler, is William Regal. Never really used as well as he probably should have been. Obviously, I'm not going to make him up to being a champion or anything along them sort of lines, but I think lower mid-card championships, European championship and that sort of thing would really be Regal's forte. Quick roll up here on Finlay, but Finlay reverses. Regal reverses back, and there's 2 count again. Regal gets rolled back over by Finlay. Now Regal running Finlay back over. And we're stuck in another one of these endless pinning combinations. And hopefully somebody's going to kick out sooner or later. And one of the main reasons why I have put the crowd noise on, especially with 2K16, is going to be, I think they've integrated quite a lot of crowd chants into 2K16. So you've got things like Fight Owens Fight, and was it Bray's going to kill you, and Suplex City and all stuff like that. So I think that's going to really enhance our viewing. As Regal hooks a leg, and there's the backdrop with a hooked leg, bridge and the pin, and that's a victory there for William Regal. He is going to take a bit of momentum forward to Bloodground. Of course, that is still about 2 weeks away, that pay-per-view. But Sheamus is going to have a difficult time here, obviously having to defend his championship against multiple opponents rather than just the one. Of course, Sheamus won that belt from Mark Henry about a month ago now. Defended the belt at our last pay-per-view, which I believe was Judgment Day. Defended it successfully there, and now he knows that in 2 weeks' time at Bloodground, the pay-per-view suggested by Kenny in the comment section below, he will have to defend his belt in a triple threat Extreme Rules match, elimination as well, against both the guys we just saw, Regal and Finlay. Both guys are very well versed in using weaponry as well, so that's really gonna go in their favour, I believe. And our next match here this evening is the Intercontinental Championship #1 Contenders match. And here we go, and I've just realised that I've got Kane wrestling twice this evening. Not a problem though. Kane has got a fantastic opportunity this evening. It means that he's got the possibility to become a #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship and #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship in the same evening. Could be a great night for Kane here. However, he does have 5 fantastic wrestlers to get through to get to that position. And of course we have Shelton Benjamin here. We've not seen in singles competition a lot in this universe mode. He's been mainly part of the tag team, of course the world's greatest tag team alongside Charlie Haas. So yeah, it's great to see him in a singles competition here. And now we see Orton and Shelton Benjamin working together. And of course Randy Orton is one half of the tag team champions as well. So yeah, I've not really fought this match through too well, have I? It's been a little bit, not so much a disaster, but basically it looks like somebody may have to wrestle twice on blood ground. Unless, well, saying that if Kane or Shelton Benjamin win this match, there's no saying Kane's going to win the main event here this evening. He's got 3 fantastic opponents in the shape of The Rock, Sting and Ric Flair. Ric Flair making his Attitude Era debut here. Of course, he will be permanently moved to the Attitude Era after next week's Starrcade pay-per-view. And Orton and Benjamin working together again here, well, taking the big man Kane down. And of course, triple threats is not one of this Strong's game, not one of the game's strong points. Really, they have a few issues with AI. Sometimes we have a few dodgy finishes. Hopefully we'll get a decent finish here this evening as Kane's starting to come back, taking Shelton Benjamin down. Benjamin's back up to his feet. Great spinning heel kick by Shelton Benjamin. Now Kane and Orton working well together. Double neck breaker on Shelton Benjamin. Benjamin trips Kane. All 3 guys back up on their feet, and it's Orton who has a hold of Benjamin. But Shelton brings him back with that drop toe hold. Now it looks like Kane and Orton may be working together on Shelton Benjamin. Orton just holding Benjamin back as Kane takes some pot shots to the stomach, but Benjamin straight back over and catches Kane with that drop kick. Now it looks like Kane and Orton going to work together, and Orton and Kane with a double chokeslam on Shelton Benjamin. Kane follows up with a leg drop. But Benjamin's back up to his feet. And Kane takes him straight back down with that DDT. And Orton there trying to pick up the pieces. And Kane now with the signature sidewalk slam on Shelton Benjamin. Going in for the pin. 1. But Orton breaks the pin. Now Kane has Benjamin up. Tombstone power driver on Shelton Benjamin by Kane. Going to try and go for the pin, but Orton's there. Oh, Kane does go for the pin now, and Orton breaks it again straight away. That's not enough to finish Benjamin off. Well, it probably wasn't enough to finish Benjamin off, but with Randy Orton there. Now Orton and Kane working together again. It's completely taken Shelton Benjamin out of the equation. Benjamin throwing Kane into the corner. Tried to follow it up, but Benjamin caught Kane. Now Orton throwing Kane over the top of his head, and now Benjamin trying to swoop in and get the quick pin over Kane. And again now Kane and Orton working together with that double suplex on Shelton Benjamin. Now Orton trying to get Benjamin back up to his feet, but Kane picks him straight up in the bear hug. And Randy Orton gets Kane to break the hold straight away, knowing that submissions would finish this match off. There's a belly-to-belly slam there by Orton. Taunting the crowd, completely forgot about Shelton Benjamin, stood behind him. Back elbow by Benjamin, but Kane again behind Benjamin now. And this is what these 2 guys need to do, I think, really. Orton and Benjamin working together, double suplex on Kane. Benjamin went for the springboard, and see Kane just launching Orton over the top rope. Shelton Benjamin has the armbar locked in on Kane, but Orton's back in and breaks the submission hold. It could take a quick, simple move like that to win this match. See Benjamin with the German suplex and Orton with the double axe handle to the stomach of Shelton. Benjamin breaks the pin. Double neck breaker now by Kane and Orton once again. The two heels working together well. And Kane and Orton are just pulling the body of Shelton Benjamin around the ring. Orton breaks the pin on by Kane straight away. Big backdrop by by Benjamin on Kane. Kane had his attention on Randy Orton there. Never saw it coming. And again, the same situation. You see, Benjamin had all of Orton's attention, and Kane comes in and takes Orton out. It's very difficult to commentate on these triple threats because the action just continues to move on. Pin here by Kane, and Orton's there again to break it up. And you just think it's only a matter of time before somebody can finish Shelton Benjamin off. Big backdrop there by Orton on Kane. Orton brings Kane back up to his feet, and Benjamin's there again. Kane sent over the top rope by Randy Orton. And now Orton joining Kane out there. So he got planned. DDT on the apron by Orton on Kane. And Kane taken out. And Shelton Benjamin there just taunting in the middle of the ring. And now Randy Orton taunting on the outside of the ring. But Kane's back up to his feet and catches Orton with that big right hand. But Orton catches the fist before he could hit the second. Kane launching Orton into the corner of the arena. And now this fight has been taken outside. Kane just really just taking Orton out on the outside. And now Benjamin there just DDTing the knee of Kane, just really jolting that knee. And that can do some serious damage. Now see Benjamin and Orton now using their environment to try and keep Kane down for that little bit of extra time which they need. Oh, great move there by Benjamin. Orton was just climbing up onto the ropes and Benjamin took his knee. Big suplex on the outside by Benjamin. And a German suplex on the outside as well by Benjamin. Throwing Orton back into the ring. Elbow across the face and not paying much attention to Kane. Managed to avoid the clothesline, but gets caught with a big boot by Kane. Orton comes back out to join them. Orton has the headlock in on Kane, and Kane just slamming the face of Orton into the mat. Brings him back up to his feet. Throws Kane back into the ring, and they queue it up now to try and do more damage to Kane. Orton slides back in. Kane with a snapmare though on Orton. Followed up by the leg drop. Shelton Benjamin probably did a wise thing here, just standing back and letting Kane take Orton out. There's the sidewalk slam by Kane on Orton. Goes to the pin. But Shelton Benjamin breaks the pin. Kane now has Randy Orton up. Tombstone power driver on Orton by Kane. Benjamin trying to pull Orton into the middle of the ring as he tries to try and steal a victory. No, Kane goes to the pin. And Benjamin breaks the hold just in time. Orton throws Kane over the top rope. And now Benjamin joining Kane on the outside. And another DDT on the apron on Kane, this time by Shelton Benjamin. Then Randy Orton comes out and drops his body weight on Kane as well. So that's now Orton and Benjamin that have both been caught with tombstone power drivers by Kane. He's really looking in fantastic form here as Kane. Great suplex in there by Orton, and now great springboard overcastle by Shelton Benjamin. Going in for the pin. Orton's down as well. 1, 2. Oh, so close to a 3 count. Benjamin nearly had this one. 1. Big backdrop there by Orton on Kane. Kane throwing Orton into the corner with such force that Orton comes bouncing back. Now Benjamin, that head scissors. Going in for the pin, but right in front of Kane. There's no way Kane's going to let that stand. And there's the RKO by Orton. Benjamin made his way back up to his feet and gets caught with the RKO, and Kane jumps straight on for the pin, and again, not even a 1 count. Orton was there to break it up. Double DDT there by Orton and Kane, working together now to take Shelton Benjamin out of the equation. And Kane pulls Benjamin into the ring. Not much point in going for a pin, really. With your opponent stood right above you like that, there's no way it's going to last. Again, not even a 1 count by the referee before the hold was broken. Double RKO. I've never seen that before. And Orton now with the neck breaker on Shelton Benjamin. Kane is down. Could Orton pick up the victory here? Pulls Benjamin into the middle of the ring. Going to go for the pin. 1, 2. Oh, Kane was there just in time. Orton just took a few seconds too long setting up the pin. Double gutbuster by Kane and Benjamin. Kane goes for the pin. Benjamin's there though. And that's what I was saying about dodgy finishes. But either way, Kane is the #1 contender. He is going on to face Goldust at our big pay-per-view Bloodground in a couple of weeks' time. Benjamin was just not quick enough to break the pin. And Kane victorious here. See a neck breaker there by Randy Orton. I thought that could have been all. Kane was down. But he just got up in time to break that at a 2 count. And this is the double gutbuster that finished Randy Orton off. Kane with a pin, and Shelton Benjamin was just too slow to break it up. And Kane picks up the 3 count. And Kane, in his first match here this evening, remember he does have to fight again tonight. He's part of the fatal 4-way elimination match later on this evening to become the #1 contender for the WWF Championship as well. Can Kane be victorious twice tonight? If he does, he'll have 2 big title matches at Bloodground. Mainly because of my dodgy booking skills. I'm saying that the game booked half this card for me, so it's not all my fault, but either way, Kane could be having a fantastic evening at Bloodground. And our next match here this evening is Hulk Hogan taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin. And here we go. Austin and Hogan. Who's going to be victorious in this one? We saw this match last week, but I think it was Extreme Rules last week. And it was Hogan who came out victorious. And of course, these two guys will face off at Bloodground as well. Of course, Bloodground was the pay-per-view suggested by Kenny a couple of weeks back. Well, it was a few weeks back, actually. As Austin looks like he's had enough here. He's leaving. Austin leaving, but Hogan's having none of it. He's following up now. Hogan slides back in the ring thinking he could get a quick victory here. He could get a count-out victory here. Austin just wandering out. Referee making his count. Austin here, you see, just standing at the top of the ramp, just eyeing Hogan up and just stood there waiting. We've seen this cutscene before, of course, and we know what's going to happen. Here we go. Austin starts to make the run. Is he going to make it in time? Yeah, of course he will. Always going around the outside. Risky move, he slides back in. See, as I was saying there, Bloodground is the pay-per-view suggested by Kenny about a month ago or so now in the comment section below. Just proves that I do keep note of all your suggestions. He also suggested the feud of Austin versus Hogan, so it seems only fitting that we're going to have the feud that he suggested, the pay-per-view he suggested, and of course it will be the gimmick as well. We're going to have a first blood match between these two. And of course that will be in 2 weeks' time in Bloodground. Which I need to try and create an arena for, don't I really? Oh, never thought about that. I'll have a little go at that tonight. I've not really created anything in this game. I've downloaded everything that I'm using. It's all other people's work. I'm just sitting here recording it and talking over the top. So kudos to all the people that can create fantastic wrestlers and great arenas like this one as well. This is a pretty good arena. And again, as I mentioned earlier, please let me know in the comment section below whether you like the fact that we've got a bit of crowd noise now. I'm hoping you can hear that properly. I'm sure I've got the settings correct. But yeah, a bit of crowd noise in the background I think just makes it a bit more realistic as such, because I've noticed a lot of my videos are completely silent, and sometimes I can take a few seconds in between sentences and that's just complete dead air. So I'm hoping that the little bit of crowd noise will fill it in. And of course next year when the crowd starts to do more chants, was one of the new things they brought in, I think, isn't it? So we're going to have things like Fight Owens Fight, and is it Suplex City, and Bray is going to kill you, and all stuff like that. And I imagine there'll be a lot of Austin chants as well, and so great things like that. So that'd be good to see. It'll be good to listen to, should I say? I'm looking forward to it now. There's only 3 weeks till the game comes out. There's going to be the biggest roster we've ever had, especially including downloadable content. We're looking at more than double this year's roster, plus the 100 spaces for creator wrestlers as well. As I said, all of my Universe Mode brands are going to have an excess of at least 40 people in each brand. But I think with Attitude, I've got nearly 60, probably more guys listed in my to be part of the Attitude Era roster, because we are going to do a hardcore division. We're going to do a cruiserweight division as well. And of course, we're going to have a much stronger tag division. We're going to bring back the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian. Of course, we're going to have DX over there as well. There's going to be some great tag teams. And Brian Kendrick and Paul London is the team I'm going to use. That might surprise you because they're not exactly the most well-known team in the world, Brian Kendrick and Paul London. But I thought the best thing about having them two is I could use them in Attitude Era. I can use them in NXT. I can use them for Ring of Honor. And I can use them for Global Force. So that one tag team just helps us extend all of our rosters up, as it looks like Austin was hulking up there. And of course, when I say a hardcore division, what I really mean is we're going to use a lot of ECW wrestlers. So the likes of the Sandman, Rhino, Raven, RVD, Sabu, Tajiri, they'll all be in Attitude Era next year. I'm not going to have a Combat Zone Wrestling. Unfortunately, Combat Zone Wrestling is going to have to make way for NXT. And as I said, all the hardcore wrestlers are going to come here to Raw is War to compete for the Hardcore Championship. Of course, basically this Raw is War, the Attitude Era roster, is going to be the best of WWF, the best of WCW, and the best of ECW at that time. So although we're using a WWF ring, it is going to be, as I said, the best of that sort of era. And again, guys like Rhino are going to be used in Attitude Era, as well as moving them across into NXT, just as we've got in real life at the moment. And we'll probably do it with other guys as well, just for the odd show here and there. Maybe might bring RVD back for a couple of matches. He's done that before, hasn't he? He did that recently. And of course, Matt Hardy is going to work for Ring of Honor as well as working for the Attitude as well. So that's my main idea for next year, is try and get a lot of guys that are sort of utility we can use across several rosters, and that really helps us build the rosters up. As Austin punching Hogan, but Hogan he's hulking up here. Austin quite not sure what to do. And there's the big boot by Hogan off the ropes. And there's the big leg drop, atomic leg drop in for the pin. 1, 2, and no, Austin kicks out from the leg drop. Hogan ducking the clothesline, catching Austin with that running DDT. Austin back up to his feet. Snapmare by Hogan, now locking in a submission hold. Austin's not too far away from the ropes, but can he grab them? Austin's back up now. Twisting the arm of Austin there is Hogan. Austin fighting back though with a back elbow and a boot to the stomach, and oh, a big spiked DDT in the middle of the ring by Austin. Very vicious move. And now Austin with his atomic elbows there. And picks up the victory over Hogan. Austin picks up the victory here over the rival, which he's working against all the way through to Bloodground in a couple of weeks' time. Hogan picked up the victory last week in the Extreme Rules match, and this week Austin gets the last laugh. Big spike DDT there by Austin on Hogan. There's the pin. After the elbows there by Austin. I can't remember that's called, to tell the truth. Austin now working the crowd over. Very happy with his victory, as you can imagine, against one of the legends of wrestling, which is Hulk Hogan. However, as I've said in many of my videos, Austin here may have won the battle, but the war continues until Bloodground in 2 weeks' time. And our next match here this evening is CM Punk taking on Brock Lesnar. And here we go, CM Punk, Brock Lesnar. Great feud we've got for Hear You Now. Hear You Now. I've already had 2 cans of Carling. I'm off my face. Lesnar brings Punk back up to his feet, and there's the back elbow. Punk now launching Lesnar over the top rope, and Lesnar landed hard on the outside. Punk comes out to join him, and Lesnar catches him with that German suplex on the outside. That's got to do some damage. And of course, remember, these 2 guys did go at it in an Extreme Rules match last week, but this is a normal match. Countouts do apply, disqualifications do apply, but I think the referee's going to struggle here. As Lesnar still just dominating CM Punk on the outside. And another German suplex by Lesnar. Punk is firmly in Suplex City here this evening. And I think at some point in the future, before this universe mode ends, we may move both of these guys forward to the current day roster, just to spice it up a little bit. I think that'd be a great thing to see. Might look at doing that, especially if Cena keeps a hold of the championship. Then maybe Lesnar walking in one evening and just dominating Cena could be a great way for us to go. Of course, Cena is defending his WWE Championship on a couple of days' time on Sunday at Night of Champions against Cesaro. So be sure to check that one out on this channel. Of course, you can go to the description below and you will find a link to all of the brands I'm currently running on this universe mode. And if you click on Monday Night Raw is War, no you don't, you click on Monday Night Raw. Let me just double check that is the correct name for that. I've gone slightly Scottish there for a second. Yeah, if you just click on WWE and it will take you across that playlist. If you are watching this in a couple of days' time, or if you're watching this any later than Sunday, then check that out now. That'll be up. Got some great card for you there, actually. We're going to have, that match there for the championship. We've got Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt in a cage match. Luke Harper defending his United States Championship against Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler and Adrian Neville. Big E faces off against Rusev for the Intercontinental Championship. Paige defends her Women's Championship against Becky Lynch, the winner of the Queen of the Ring. The Ascension taking on Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan for the Tag Team Championships. And I've also got penciled in a fatal 4-way women's elimination match between Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley and Natalya. So that'd be interesting as well. And I've also thinking of doing some sort of pre-show, maybe another match or 2 added on top. Maybe the likes of Finn Balor hasn't had a lot of shows as yet. Of course, he is Mr. Money in the Bank, so he could cash in that championship whenever he likes. But there's also with the I think it was with the Intercontinental Championship #1 Contenders Battle Royal we had last week. Ryback eliminating Seth Rollins. I don't know why, but as soon as I watched that elimination, I was just thinking that maybe Ryback versus Seth Rollins could be a match we could maybe have on the pre-show. As a trio of Germans there by Brock Lesnar. And Lesnar's dominating CM Punk here, just throwing him around the ring. Lesnar with the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Again, Lesnar with another German suplex. Rolls Punk over again, but Punk's feet are underneath the rope. Punk with a DDT on Lesnar. Great arm drag there by CM Punk on Brock Lesnar. Lesnar now with a belly to back slam. Now Wrenching back at the arm in the armbar. Rolls Punk over for the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Punk back up to his feet, but Lesnar catches him with that right hand, but Punk still continues the assault, and there's the Russian leg sweep by Punk. Rolling Lesnar over, and there's a punt to the back. Punk brings Lesnar back to his feet, but Lesnar catches a hold of the leg of Punk and hoists him straight up, and there's the F5 in the middle of the ring by Lesnar on CM Punk, and could this be all? 1, 2, and 3, and it is. Brock Lesnar picks up the victory here against CM Punk. Great win here for Lesnar. Of course, it was very early on when Lesnar took Punk to Suplex City on the outside, really dominating him. There's a big fall-away slam there by Brock Lesnar as well. And you see him catch the leg of Punk. Maybe not yet. Will do. Oh, you missed it. He caught the leg of Punk and then just hoisted him straight up into the F5. And what a great win here for Brock Lesnar. Of course, as I've said, these two guys will be continuing their feud all the way through to Bloodground. Lesnar... Oh. Lesnar deciding that he's not quite done enough damage. A few extra stomps to the stomach of CM Punk. Just adding insult to injury. And now it's time for our main event, the Fatal 4-Way Elimination match for the #1 contendership to Shawn Michaels WWF Championship. We have Kane, The Rock, Ric Flair, and Sting. And here we go. Who will be going on to face Shawn Michaels at Bloodground in a couple of weeks' time? Of course, this is a match suggested by Kenny last week. We did have The Rock penciled in to face off against Shawn Michaels. However, Kane threw a spanner in the works last week by defeating The Rock in our main event. So that's what's come along here. Of course, we've added Sting to this match and debuting here Ric Flair in the Attitude Era. Normally we see Flair in the Retro roster, and of course Flair will be fighting actually for the Retro Championship next weekend on our big finale Starrcade episode. That's a Fatal 4-Way Elimination match as well. It's The Rock, Bret Hart, The Undertaker, and Ric Flair. And we have said as soon as that Starrcade pay-per-view is finished, Flair is moving to this Attitude Era roster as a permanent member. Of course, we've already seen Kane once this evening, and we also know he's the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship, so he's going to be weakened somewhat here this evening. Already wrestled once. However, he knows that a victory here sets him up for a very, very good night in a few weeks' time at Bloodground. It's actually probably 2 weeks' time if you think about it. It's going to be 2 weeks on Sunday. Sting with a back elbow. Went for the dropkick, but Kane avoids it. And of course, as some of the rosters start to close off, like of course, as we mentioned, Retro roster's finale episode is next weekend. Combat Zone Wrestling's only in a few weeks as well. So as the rosters start to come to an end, I think we'll start to see a lot more episodes uploaded quicker, because we have got about 8 weeks worth of footage to upload now in the 3 weeks before 2K15 comes out. The Rock has Sting up high and drops him in that vertical suplex. So obviously, as things like Retro roster start to close off, I've got more time to record and edit extra episodes elsewhere. Great DDT there by The Rock on Sting in the background. See Flair twisting the arm of Kane, but Kane comes back with that knee to the stomach and a running DDT on Ric Flair. And of course, I have already mentioned that next year, I say next year, in 3 weeks' time, on 2K16, we are going to have 2 championships on the go in Attitude Era. We're going to have the WWF Championship and the World Heavyweight Championships. That's mainly to try and use a lot more of our main event stars. We've got a hell of a lot of them, so to get them all in the title pictures where we need them to be, I think having 2 championships, like it used to be in the WWF in the early 2000s after the invasion, I think is definitely the way to go. Headlock here by Kane on Ric Flair. And a scoop slam by Kane on Ric Flair as well. And Flair is not going to want to pick up any injuries, knowing he's going for that Retro Championship next week at Starrcade, our big finale episode. And again, if you check out the description below, you will find the link to the Retro roster playlist. And if you're watching this again, if you're watching this a week after this has been uploaded, so if you're watching this any later than the 17th, check out that playlist now, because that Starcade may even already be uploaded. Kane going for the pin on Ric Flair, as Rock with a great spinebuster on Sting. And one thing I haven't seen on this game yet is the People's Elbow. I've seen him hit the rock bottom a few times. Sting kicks out. And talking of the rock bottom, there it is. Rock hits the rock bottom on Sting. And Sting has been eliminated. We are down to 3. The Rock, Ric Flair, and Kane, who will be going on to face Shawn Michaels at Bloodground in 2 weeks' time. Flair with the shin breaker on Kane. And as I said, Kane already wrestled once this evening. Can he continue this? Oh, Kane just sits up like nothing's happened. Dropping Ric Flair down, and Kane just showing that he is a monster. He is the devil's favourite demon. And I believe we actually have 4 Kanes on next year's game, which is going to be great. I'm not sure yet, and I'm still unsure, whether that's going to be 4 Kane characters or 1 character with 4 attires. If you know the answer to that question, please let me know, because that's something I really want to know. I've seen a video released by the developers called The 4 Faces of Kane, I think it is. And we've got Corporate Kane, we've got an up-to-date Masked Kane, we've got the sort of debut Kane, and then we've got the Brothers of Destruction style Kane. So if we have got 4, that'd be fantastic. We're going to have 1 for Retro roster, we can have 1 for the Attitude Era, and of course 1 for current day, which we can keep switching between Corporate Kane and Masked Kane as and when we wish. Rock here now with the abdominal stretch locked in on Kane. Is this going to be enough to knock Kane out of the match? No, Kane is still in this one. Rock breaks a submission hold. And Flair's there, just spins the Rock round from behind. Rock not even aware that it was there. Flair taking Rock up onto the corner. Back elbow by the Rock on Kane, and then Rock did make his way up onto the top rope, but Kane had moved Ric Flair out the way. The Rock crashed and burned. Back elbow by Kane on Ric Flair. Kane takes Flair up, and Flair reverses the powerbomb into a facebuster. Big knee to the face there by the Rock, and so Rock and Flair are both pretty eager to get Kane out of this match as early as possible. Both working together as much as they can. On talking about working together, it looks like Kane and Ric Flair now working together on the Rock. And there's a double chokeslam by Ric Flair and Kane on the Rock. And that could be the end of Kane in this match. No. Kane brings the Rock back up to his feet, but oh, they're going for it again. Another big double chokeslam by Ric Flair and Kane, but the Rock again back up to his feet. Neckbreaker on Ric Flair. Going in for the pin. 1, 2, and no. Flair's still in this one. By the skin of his teeth is he still in this one. And now Rock and Kane with a double chokeslam on Flair. Kane goes in for the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And there goes Ric Flair. We're down to our final 2, the Rock and Kane. Of course, it was Kane who defeated the Rock last week. Rock with a spine buster. Going in for the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And it's the Rock who wins this match. He is going on to face off against Shawn Michaels at Bloodground for that WWF Championship. And here's the Rock. They're eliminating Sting with that rock bottom. Shinbreaker here by Ric Flair on Kane. And this was the Rock going for a pin on Ric Flair. It was so close to freak out. I think that was after the double chokeslam. Oh, this is the double chokeslam which finished Ric Flair off. There it is. Rock went in for the... Kane went in for the pin for the free count. And Rock hit Kane with a big spine buster. And that was enough to finish Kane off. Of course, it was his second match this evening. So the Rock is victorious here. He is going on to Bloodground to face off against Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship. Alright guys, that is the end of this episode. We now know our #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship and our #1 contender for the WWF Championship, and of course we know our European Championship match as well. So our Bloodground pay-per-view is really starting to shape up now. We still need to suss out who our #1 contender is going to be for the Tag Team Championships, and of course we have one more space left on our card to fill as well. And I have a few ideas, but I'm sure that will come into effect over the next few weeks. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching this episode, and goodbye.